Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. If you watching right now are a cast member of one of these shows that I've been reacting to, please do not use my speculative comments as therapy. If you need a therapist, get one. I'm just commenting on what they're editing and what they're showing us, which, of course, I understand that people are more complicated than what we're being presented here. So sometimes cast members will watch, and I worry sometimes that they'll think that what I'm saying is reflective of what you would actually get with actual assessment and treatment, which, of course, it is not. Let's watch.
Babe, you didn't even say anything about my new car. I mean, it was new until you broke the plastic and removed my plate number.
We were upset about the car being ripped off, but not me outside flying all the way across here to surprise you.
All right, so he is bringing up the topic that she vandalized his car. He is bringing that up, which is good. And then instead of her saying, yeah, that's awful of me to be abusive in that way, violent and aggressive and harmful, what an awful thing I did, I'm so sorry. Instead, she follows it up with, well, you're focusing on what I did to the car instead of focusing on me flying. You know, you didn't, essentially what she's saying is you weren't super happy to see me. We understand why in that moment he wasn't expressing happiness, because she's screaming at him, and just before arriving, she's on phone with him, calling him a B word and stuff, and telling him to stay up and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it's just so. Abusive people, I don't know about here, but they have a pretty distorted way of looking at the world, sometimes on purpose and sometimes not. I don't know if that's what we're seeing right now.
Angie, let us have quality time, please.
I'm not here to talk about the nice morning, day together. We're here to talk about what we didn't finish last night at the table. We still got to resolve your social media.
All right, so it sounds like they haven't solidified. So maybe he has said that he might or that he will cancel his Instagram. So they're going to talk about it more specifically here, I guess.
I did tell Angela last night that I was going to take down the Instagram to convince her to be sweet with me, but I really don't intend to take it down.
Interesting. I don't think this is going to go very well for you, Michael. So, in fact, let's just say we know it's not going to go well. Angela will probably, or most, I don't want to get my hopes up. You know, so let's just say, in all likelihood, Angela is going to become abusive, yell, scream, get violent, and we have to prepare for that emotionally. Because my hypothesis is that it has nothing to do with the reasonableness of Michael's Instagram. It has nothing to do with reality. It has nothing to do with the Instagram. It has to do with control and cutting him off from power and connection with others, which is power.
It's pretty.
Yeah. Of course, I feel bad lying to her, but I did it because I thought if I could put her in a better mood, then it will be better to talk to her about keeping my social media.
All right. We'll see how this goes. I don't think it's going to go well. And I will say that if I were his friend, I wouldn't recommend that, right? Because you shouldn't have to lie about that kind of thing just to get someone to... Because she was refusing to have any sort of conversation until he promised to cancel his Instagram. She would let him say one or two things maybe in all the different interactions, but then it was very quick to her screaming and yelling and threatening and being violent. That should be focused on by him. He should be like, you know, on one hand, she wants me to get rid of the Instagram, and the point she makes, I guess I kind of get it, but what he really should be focusing on is the method in which she was trying to get control, that you had to lie just so that she would listen to you for half a second, right? So, I don't know. Let's see how this makes me feel a little bit better, because I think he is drawing a line. I think he's saying, I'm not gonna give up that much control. So maybe this is promising in a way.
I like this feeling right here, but when you betrayed me, there ain't no ifs and buts. You see, I get sick from being upset.
Betrayed her. How did he betray her? I guess we'll find out.
And I care about you, but you need to understand my own opinion. Because I told you, the social media, the IG, I want us to have like a doubled income.
And I told you no.
I don't do anything here. If you think I'm flirting or not.
All right, so at the very least, he seemingly has, I was talking earlier about he didn't just lose Instagram, he lost a lot of other potential rules in this relationship. He might have lost his own self-respect or lost his own ability to push back in future situations, or his own ability to say, you know what, I deserve to have a little bit this, So it seems like he might not have lost that. He still is holding on to the logical conclusion that there's nothing wrong with him having an Instagram. So that is encouraging that he hasn't lost that. But I don't think this is going to go well.
You're not going to do what you told me? I can't do it.
Sorry.
So, speculation time. What is happening for her right now is her mood is shifting. She was in a place where she felt secure enough to have the cycle of abuse where she is now doing okay. And there are different styles of the cycle of abuse. We've talked about one common cycle sequence is that after the transgression and after he agrees to give up his Instagram, there would be some level of remorse and apologizing from the abusive individual. They'd be like, you know what, honey, thank you for getting rid of the Instagram. I just want to say I will apologize for going a little too far the other night. We're not hearing that at all, at least on camera. Maybe it happened off camera. I doubt it. So there are some versions of the abuse cycle where there is no remorse or regret or guilt, because some abusive people will be very remorseful, at least exhibiting a lot of, but some of them actually legit do have a lot of remorse about it. So there's a spectrum there, and from Angela, at least what we're being presented, Angela is on one end of the spectrum where the reconciliation part of it, or the thing that she does to make up for things, is to be nice and to be pleasant to be around, which should be baseline, right? Anyway, so what I'm guessing is happening right now is she is going to interpret this as a betrayal because he lied last night. And she might even interpret it as he lied to have sex with her, but that's not what he was doing. I think he was lying so that he could actually have a conversation with her. He was right that he could not have a conversation with her, and he tried and tried and tried until he just gave in. And he's like, well, if I give in, but I'm not really going to give in, then maybe she'll calm down and I can actually have a calm conversation with her. I think he thinks that she's rational about this topic, that if he just lays out the bullet points, that she'll understand. I'm not cheating on you. And double income. It'll be good. Better for me, better for you, better for everyone. And that I don't think is what's happening. And so what's happening right now is she's going from a foundation of safety with control, and thus a good mood and nice to him, to now it'll trigger. She is feeling the adrenaline kick in, the anger, the thoughts are starting to go through her mind, and escalation. She won't let him talk, and she'll run off or get violent with him. God forbid. Let's watch.
Yeah, but you need to understand me, you know? You can't tell me no.
Then I can go right now. Because you lied. You knew exactly what you were doing for you to me. You know what?
It's not even about that.
All we've been through, this was your masterpiece.
Right. So pretty easy to predict. I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do. So hopefully, best case scenario, she walks away. They never talk to each other again. Me talking as a citizen. Worst case scenario, she gets violent, and they are together for the next number of years, and she continues to go on around this cycle. Let's find out which one it is or where it is in between.
You're not that goddamn nice, Michael. You're nice when you want to be. But when there's something you want to do, you don't give a You're going to do it, and you'll take the consequences with me later.
Just imagine the distortion that all he is saying is, I want to hold on to my Instagram account because I want to have I don't know if it's going to make me income, but I think it will. And so that's all he's asking. But the way she frames it, and this is where gaslighting comes in. If you're alone and you were semi-gaslit in your childhood and you don't have a lot of self-esteem regarding your ability to gauge right and wrong and reality, and you just hear this unrelenting yelling and screaming, and because the way she's framing it, and if you've been abused and you've been gaslit, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that you'll end up believing these fundamental things about our rights as humans is a massive affront to the abusive partner. You'll end up believing like, boy, I really am selfish, or yeah, maybe I am trying to flirt, I guess, because there might be a grain of truth to it. Like, he maybe likes getting attention from women on Instagram. That'd be kind of natural, right? And he starts to blow that up. Oh, so maybe she's right. Maybe I'm deluding myself. Maybe I'm kind of doing it for the wrong reasons, when that was just kind of a very minor thing involved in the whole, enterprise on Instagram. So you hear that assuredness, and it's kicking in right away, right? His hope is that now that she's calm and they've bonded, she'll listen. But I think the mistake he's making is that prior to this episode, every time she would do this, she wanted a little bit more control. And to him, those steps, those losses weren't that big of a deal to him. And so in the beginning of the relationship, she would do this, and it would be smaller things that she would want control over. He would relinquish control. And afterwards, they would make up and things would be better. And he might have erroneously concluded, I don't know if this is an error or not, that because he relinquished and she calmed down, they were able to see eye to eye. But might have been what was really happening is that there was no eye to eye. It was all just further control that he was giving up and that she was trying to get. So in this moment, he might be learning, oh, this isn't really about rational respect of each other or understanding each other. This is just about control for her. And there's really no flexibility at all. Or he will become gaslit and say, I don't know how to gauge reality. Or he will give in because he needs this relationship or doesn't want to lose her. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
It's not all about you. You have a partner now, which is I myself.
Well, I've run out of patience with you. I'm ready to go home.
Wait, hold on.
One of the things that I enjoy about situations like this is that, not enjoy, but one of the benefits of having someone that is this over the top in terms of their behavior is there's no ambiguity. You don't have to wonder, am I seeing things right? What's going on here? It's so discreet. It's so obvious. It's so clear. The fact that I could predict what she would do prior to her doing it in that very specific way, right? That it's like, it's either give up control or it's nothing. And she will yell and scream, and he's putting hands on right now, which could get ugly for her and him. But my point is that in my personal life is usually where this plays out. When someone, because I've come across Angelas in my personal life, and when they present like this and it's so over the top, I'm like, oh, thank God they're that far down the road behaviorally and psychologically, because it's so obvious that they're wrong and there's something wrong with this situation. And so I don't have to second guess myself. I can conclude as to what's going on and take actions based on that without worrying I'm making a mistake, right? If she were lesser, and there are other cast members on this spectrum but are lesser, think of like Kimberly or maybe even Ed. I don't know. It depends on your scale of things. You might say, well, there's hope there. Am I overreacting if you're involved with these individuals? But when it comes to this sort of, it's so clear. There's such a clear line. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's completely irrational. It's so obviously controlling and abusive.
Hold on.
No, I'm standing up. I've always told Michael, actions speak bigger than words. I mean, how can he love me if he just used me for sex? Like, I feel like a piece of like a whore on the street that didn't get paid. Like, prostitutes get.
Right. I predicted she might think that. That is not how I would have framed it. I mean, she can see it that however she wants to see it, but I think it's all part of the whole distorted way of thinking and way that she actually might feel, and or it justifies her abuse of him to adopt this point of view.
Get more respect than Michael gave me.
You either take the Instagram down because you want to, or leave it out, Michael. I'm to the point where I don't care.
Wait, now we are talking.
No, you're talking.
Yeah, that sums it up right there. We are talking. No, you're talking. We're done. Yeah. So is this the end? Is this when it ends?
I have put up with so much in the last 4 years that I am tired, emotionally drained.
Must he
Don't
got to
touch
do
me,
it?
Michael. Don't touch me when I'm fired up.
Okay, let's take both social media down then.
Well, you know what? I don't have to take mine down because I didn't betray you. You did all.
I don't even have to comment on that. Right? Right? She just said, I didn't betray you. You betrayed me.
This to me. Do what you want, honey.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Nah,
Don't-
back up. You're getting on my goddamn nerves.
She won't delete social media for me, so why should I delete mine for her?
I'm actually personally, as a citizen, kind of glad that she didn't agree to that, because I don't think that would have been fair to him. She could have canceled her Instagram and still had a lot of power and control and access to resources. I think Instagram for him is one of, if not the only pathway for him to gain economic control and power and connection with the outside world and say in what goes on with his life in that arena. So I think him sacrificing that would have been bigger than her. So I'm kind of glad that, because if she would have agreed to that, and he's like, okay, we'll both cancel, that he could walk away thinking like, all right, we just had a negotiation where we had a back and forth, when I don't think it would have been that.
Give me a taxi.
Let me take you back
No,
to the
I'm
hotel.
good, Michael. I'm not mad at you. Go play on your Instagram.
If I don't put my foot down, I'm never gonna have any say in this marriage.
I'm glad he has that point of view. I think he should not only be able to say that to himself, but also extend that into other areas as well, which I don't think will work. I don't think she will let it work, but it makes me feel better. But I don't know. You know, I had a similar thing with Bilal and Shida, right? Because Shida will often say similar kinds of things. I'm not saying Angela and Bilal are similar, but those statements where it's like, oh, okay, they do see what's happening, but do they see it to the extent that they actually take action is the question, right? Do they see it, and also do they value themselves enough as humans to be able to enact justice regarding what's happening, right? You could see like, wow, I'm really being mistreated here. And at the same time, I don't really deserve justice, so c'est la vie. So you kind of need both, right? You can see the injustice, but you also have to believe that you deserve justice.
But at the same time, I still love her and I still want the marriage to work. I just want to voice out my opinion, but I know that might not be possible. I mean, because Angela do whatever she wanna do.
Keep your Instagram, and I'll keep my sanity.
But can't you just...
I mean, just think about that. Keep your Instagram and I'll keep my sanity. Huh? Him having Instagram. Well, yeah. Now, I think what's happening is, what I've been saying is that she actually does feel tremendous fear and pain when he has his Instagram, because he has access to power and control and money, and potentially might meet someone online that would lead to infidelity. Not that that has happened. There's certainly no evidence that Angela has presented, but I think she actually does feel, as she would say, insane. You know, give me my sanity. And that is the basis. But then she transforms that into abuse, right? It's the double whammy, both the insecurity and the entitlement to control and to abuse, similar to what we seem to be seeing with Ed. All right, well, that is for that episode. If you want to contact me, go through the website, click on the contact button, because that form has all the appropriate questions and disclaimers. If you comment below or DM me somewhere, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to get that. And especially if you have a question or something, you should really go there. Plus, when you go to the website, you can check out other episodes, and I might have already addressed it before. It's unknown all the time. But anyway, the other thing I want to get out there is that in the past, I was able to answer pretty much everyone's emails, but with more popularity, there's been more emails, which I've been trying to answer every email on the air, but it's probably not possible with all of the emails. So I kind of want to put out there that if you are an upper tier patron, I will probably answer your email on the air. If you're a regular patron, there's probably a 50-50 chance that I'll answer it on a podcast episode, an audio podcast episode. If you are not a patron, I would say 10-20% chance that I'll be able to get to it and answer it on the air. I wish I could answer all of them. The emails are always really interesting, and I love that part of my job, so it's a bummer that I can't do it for everyone. But I don't know. I just want to put that out there because some people seem to be under the impression that if you submit a question through the website that I will eventually get to it. And that used to be true, but not so anymore. And that bums me out. But anyway. So everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.